Now, what do we know about her? We know that she's very well appointed, very well dressed. She's smart, very sophisticated. Apparently, she looks sophisticated. I'm talking when we first see her in the picture. Then a little bit of her background comes out. So that generally speaking, as I said, we get a picture of a girl who is, at first sight, well off, and as we learn in the scene, obviously a woman with a sense of humor. Otherwise we wouldn't talk about her going in for practical jokes.
Well, she also has a great air of confidence about her, too.
Well, that's built in. The confidence also, I agree, is built in as well. We're going to show, you see, that she is, to some extent, a fairly extreme. I would say that extreme in the sense that when she found out that she was going to have to go all the way up to Bodega Bay, she didn't say, oh, the hell with it, and then throw the birds away and forget the whole thing. You know, she kind of went through with it. Now, what's this based on? This is based on, which we'll deal with later when we come down to the individual scenes, that she has been attracted to the young man. No question about that. Now, as she goes along, she finds herself in the company of literate people, but a little more sober in their whole setup, their mental setup, than she has been. She probably is capable of it as well, you know, but Lydia is a serious woman. After all, Lydia has a husband who was well off. He was probably a director of a San Francisco corporation, and after his death left her reasonably comfortably off. I imagine that they lived in San Francisco in an apartment and had this farm as a weekend place. There are some people up in Bodega Bay, we've encountered, are the same, except they sit indoors and drink all day. They're quite different to our people. And the son, Mitch, has been to, you know, good school and college. Like anyone moving into a different atmosphere, there's a kind of a toning down. And when she meets Annie, you know, the teacher, I think she's inclined to look at her objectively, saying, well, this is an interesting character. I've never met this sort of person before. And you haven't, because in the remoteness of this setting, the mere fact that you're away from the city, they're away from the city, I suppose it generates a kind of expression from somebody who normally wouldn't do it if you were in San Francisco, so that the little kind of interchanges that she gets from Annie give her a kind of little thoughtful glance.
You know, it seems to me that meeting Annie and talking to her, she realizes that Annie has a purpose in life. Annie has found something that she wants to do. Would this give Melanie a bit of a sense of inadequacy?
I wouldn't say at this stage.
Of it.
I would. Well, it'll only be a kind of a glance on her face, you know. But I don't think it impinges itself too much. I'm sure if she drove away to San Francisco again that night,
it'll be off her mind.
It'll be off her mind pretty well, you know. Well, now by degrees, what are we getting? We're getting, she's getting a bit unnerved by the bird situation. That attack by the thousands of birds that came in the room, which forces her to stay the night, you know, and that things are getting serious, set up another mood for her, and brings out the emergence of the scene between Mitch after he's been burning the birds, you see. And I think that the love scene that takes place there has been a culmination of the thing that she saw in the bird shop, but the externals that are happening the bird attacks and there's something funny here. Gives her a kind of a funny feeling. It's people beginning to, in extremis, like in an air raid, get very emotional. It's a reaction. It's a reflex action, really. The bird attacks are doing. It's projecting everybody into emotions that would not normally come in such a way.